How is everybody doing today? My name is Master Zero, and welcome back to another reaction video. This time we're reacting to Banned and Controversial Foods by Salmonella Academy. Alright, so I have a love-hate relationship with Sony. I mean, they made Spider-Man and they made the PlayStation 5, but they also made Morbius and Madam Web, you know? and they banned my last video. But onto this, man, I'm just really excited to dive back into Salmonella's stuff because it is just diabolically funny. If that's a word, then I'm gonna take it, man, because it is just that's the perfect way to describe these, because every single time I react to one of his stuff, I legitimately cannot stop laughing, dude. Like, I keep thinking about the animal breed one for the longest time. Like, it just pops into my head every now and then because of how funny the Chihuahua scene was, man. Like, it's just to die for. Like, literally, you might laugh to die because like it's just really whimsical and wacky, and like the animation style, like, aspect of it, you know, like, that's nothing to sneeze at. The opposite of that, you know, it's like, it's very simplistic, but like his humor just carries it home, man. It's just really fun and just entertaining, you know. At the end of the day, Salmonella is very entertaining and it's just hilarious, man. I love his comedy style, so I'm really excited to get this going. So without any further ado, here's Banned and Controversial Foods. The classical music I miss so much. Banned and Controversial Foods.
Hey Majors, so
Hi.
I'd like to start off with a little biology lesson. When a species finds itself
Biology?
living on an island, it can start to evolve in strange ways based on the different
Yeah?
pressures applied by the new
I
environment.
don't think
This is called
cows do
island
that, though.
syndrome, and while it can manifest in a lot of ways, the biggest driving force is often a lack of
Whoa,
predators. For
okay.
example, the dodo lost its ability to fly since there was nothing to flee from. The saint killed a field mouse got twice as big since it no longer had to hide. And with no one around to bully them, the Sardinians started putting maggots in their cheese. Meet Kazumatsu, literal translation, rotten cheese. It's made by taking a perfectly good wheel of pecorino and letting a special type of fly lay eggs
What
in
is
it.
wrong
The fly
with some
babies then
people?
work to partially digest the cheese, rendering
Is that
it
fly literally
goopy
called the
and
fly cheese?
wet and maybe
Cheese
quite
fly?
tasty and worm-filled. Now, cheese as a
I'm
concept
good.
is already quite suspect. It's
Yeah.
clotted milk that you fill with
I love
bacteria
cheese so
and
much,
mold
though.
and let sit for a while. But cheese is safe
Yummy.
and delicious. Cheese is my friend. I trust
Cheese is-
cheese.
yes.
My guard would be down around
Everybody should love
Kazumatsu.
cheese.
I've learned to look past a cheese's childhood. Strange upbringings are what give them their character. But it turns out, those maggots are still alive. And if you don't chew well enough, they can cause enteric myiasis, which is a fancy term for fly larvae living in your intestines. Symptoms are similar to food poisoning, except with the
It's
added
like, yeah, you're
psychic
just gonna
pain
have,
of
like,
knowing that, again,
living
your
things
bowels are
inside
full
you.
of squiggly new friends.
I
It's for this
don't
reason
like
that
that.
Kazumatsu is banned in the EU and
Good.
elsewhere. A black market still exists, which is wild, and it's not a small one. In
Why?
2019, the illicit
Not a small
Kazumatsu
one?
trade was estimated to be worth 2 to 3 million euros annually. Personally, I would just do it prohibition style, like definitely don't put these fly eggs on this sumptuous wheel of pecorino.
I wouldn't do it
But
if I were
do,
you.
You absolutely shouldn't keep it warm and damp for a week. But although it's traditional to leave the larvae alive when you eat your mag and cheese,
I love that.
some consumers still prefer them
like,
dead.
no, guys, I'm showing you
shockingly.
what
In
not
that
to
case,
do.
one puts the cheese in a sealed bag, and when the maggots run out of oxygen, they writhe around and fling themselves all over the place. This is heard as a distinct pitter-patter against the walls of the bag, and when the sound
Why not,
stops,
man?
the contents are ready to eat, like popcorn. Shark fin soup is one most of us have heard about already, mostly in reference to its effect on
I know
shark
that's a thing, but I've
populations and
never
the
actually
wastefulness that
seen
goes
it
into
before.
making it. Until recently,
Can we go
though,
back
I
to the
never
maggot
looked into
thing,
the
though?
nature of
Jesus
the dish
Christ.
itself. I figured, right, the fins are just the only part of the shark worth eating. Big whoop, it's probably not much different from, like, swordfish. Apparently, though, I had it backwards. Shark fins aren't even meat. They're made almost entirely of cartilage and collagen. They are the last
you know,
part we should be eating. That's why
sharks
it's
don't have
only
any
made into
bones.
soup,
It's
because
crazy.
without being soaked in broth, it has zero flavor or nutritional value on its own.
So
Their
why
only
even
redeeming
eat
quality
it?
is their unique mouthfeel due to how stringily the collagen grows in structures called ceratotrichia. The texture has been described
That's like
as
some
somewhere
hody-toady
between
shit. You
chewy
just
and
eat it
crunchy,
because you
which I
can.
find describes most things, actually. Other adjectives
Chewy
present on
and crunchy.
Wikipedia include snappy, gelatinous, and sinewy. The exact sensation of eating this substance remains a mystery to me,
Boogers?
and the unintended
You
side
described
effect of all this
boogers.
research is that I now really want to try it. Like, it's a big trade.
I don't.
I've got to be the one that's wrong. There is imitation shark fin soup available, but I've already decided that it's not nearly as good. So I've come up with a compromise to this controversy.
Let me hear
Everyone on Earth gets just one bite. Say there's 10 bites to a fin, 4 fins to a shark,
Everybody gets
200
one.
million sharks die, sure, a
I'm not-
necessary
I-
casualty,
I'm
but then
good,
we can end
man.
the practice forever.
It's kind
All
of like I
done.
can't eat
You can
coconut
finally
because the
rest, Mr.
texture.
Ming. Come here, baby. Aw. Aki. What?
Does he still do
Aki.
stuff?
Where? Aki. The aki is a fruit originally from West Africa, which is most commonly associated with Jamaican cuisine, where it appears in such dishes
I
as
get that
aki and
reference.
saltfish. These alien kidneys here are
Aki.
called the arils, and they're the only part of the fruit that's actually eaten. The flavor is on the savory side, being described as kind of nutty or bean-like. What makes the
Thank
aki
you.
controversial, though, is the effects it can cause when prepared improperly. If the arils are allowed to completely ripen, they're
Kinda like
harmless,
certain fish.
but if you eat them too early, or don't thoroughly clean off all
Alien?
the
You turn into an
non-aril
alien.
stuff, they can cause Jamaican vomiting sickness. This disease doesn't sound real. It sounds like it belongs next to Eastern sweats and tangerine.
Or I was gonna say, like, Tom and Jerry or
but
something.
That's actually an official term, and as for symptoms, it does what it says on the tin. Plus maybe death. While aki-based products aren't outright
Can you
illegal
imagine
in the
throwing up
United
to
States,
death?
they are very tightly regulated, and the raw fruit itself cannot be imported. So if you're American and want to try it, your options are fully cooked canned aki or going to Florida where a few people grow it domestically. Next we have
I'm
bird's
good.
nest soup. This is another
Anything
one that
goes
I've
in Florida,
vaguely
huh?
heard of, and for years I
Bird's
just assumed the
nest
name was a
soup?
playful metaphor, like ants on a log or
Oh,
shit on
yeah.
a shingle. Turns
Shit
out,
on a
nope, this
shingle?
dish contains an actual bird nest, not like a pile of twigs like I was
Oh, okay.
picturing, but rather a specific type of nest only made by
Why?
certain species of swiftlets. These nests are
Why
mostly
do
made
rich
out of
people, like,
mucins, which are a set
fascinate
of
over
proteins that, among other
baby
things,
things?
serve to thicken all those wonderful secretions our bodies make. There's a little bit in human saliva, a little bit more in mucus, and in swiftlet saliva, look
So I was
out,
right about the
pal.
booger thing
So all
just
the
a little
swiftlet
early.
does is it finds a nice wall, starts laying out fat strings
Lovely.
of slobber, which dry, and eventually she's got a nice place to roost. That is, right up until some gourmand says,
Today I crave bird spit. You can keep the
Ugh.
eggs though.
and they then reconstitute it back into its original gelatinous texture.
You know, the actual
Unfortunately,
thing
these
that you
nests
could eat?
can't enter the U.S. since, believe it or not, eating bird saliva is a great way to catch bird flu. And now
don't
the time
say.
has come to speak of the ortolan. The ortolan
What's
is
a
a kind
ortolan?
of bunting, which is a sort of passerine,
Stop
which is a
doing
type of
this.
bird. They're birds. Like many animals, they have a long
Thank you.
history
I got
of
there
being
in the
eaten by
end.
the French. But what separates the ortolan from
Of
your
course
average
it's French.
swab or pheasant
Oh,
is the unique way in
oui,
which
oui.
it is prepared and eaten.
Hamburger.
They're typically caught with nets and kept in the dark, which causes
Why?
them to overeat for some reason. Once
Why?
it's about twice as fat, the entire bird is then thrown into a container of brandy, alive, and sealed in. While this serves to marinate
Why?
the creature, it also drowns in the process, thereby
Yeah.
killing one bird with no stones. The ortolan is then roasted, plucked, and presented whole to the consumer, who inserts the carcass into their mouth, feet first. As they chew, one hand continues holding the bird's head, while the other picks out the larger bones. This whole ritual is usually performed with a towel or a large
Why?
napkin over one's head. There's a few explanations for the purpose of
Whoa,
the towel.
so
Some
God
say it's
doesn't
just
see
there
you?
to keep the aromas in, while others say it's there to, quote, shield from God's eyes the shame of such a decadent and disgraceful act. Yeah, this one I'm okay with not trying, actually. Notable fans of
swear
this
to
dish
God,
include,
I was
not joking,
joking.
Bill Cosby and the guy who invented the lobotomy.
Of
To be part of
course.
that social club. Our mission is to eat birds whole.
I don't
and
wanna
then
be
make
in
people
that
not
social
remember
club, thank
things.
you.
Killing ortolans
Bill
was
Cosby
banned
used
across
to
the
be a
EU in
historical figure, and then
2007.
we all
Not
know
for
what
any
happened.
ethical reason, but because French people did this so much that the entire ortolan population was threatened. Thankfully, as of 2018, their conservation status is under least concern, so hopefully the
Okay.
French can get back to it soon. Anyway, that's all
What?
I have for today. Till next time, I'm Salmonella,
What
and
is
thank
wrong
you for
with?
watching.
Did you say salmonella? Salmonella? Salmonelli? All right, man. That was a trip through and through. Like I could have sworn it was gonna be like, okay, well technically it was still that, but it opened up a new can of stuff. Like I had no idea that bird thing, for example, that was disturbing. Lack of a better word, that was very, very disturbing. And like it kind of goes back to like how rich people, like, they eat like fish eggs and stuff like that. It's like, why? Like that there can be like no joy into like sucking up something like that. It has to be the idea that like you're taking something precious and then just consuming it. Like it has to be that, right? Like there can be like no other nutritional value. There can be no, like, they're freaking tiny. Like I'm talking about fish eggs, but like the huge example of that, what I just said, man, I am just tongue twisting the entire sentence here, but like the fact that like that bird, for example, the very end, you know, like you put a towel over your head to like hide yourself from God is what they believe, you know, like, or what some people speculate is why they do it, but like you gotta be like a certain type of, I don't want to like spread names and misinformation and stuff, but you gotta be like loco in the brain, man. You gotta be crazy in order to do that kind of stuff, like just to satisfy your weird, it's not even real hunger, mind you, it's like some sort of sick and twisted, like you're better than everyone else, so you have to enjoy like this weird minute thing. Like, that's how I took it. And like the shark fin as well, you know, I took it as like that as well. I'm not like vegan or whatever they're called. Oh my god, PETA. I'm not part of the PETA group or anything, but like still, like, humans are made on this earth to get eaten, in my opinion. So like, if you're just doing that when they have no nutritional value and like nothing, literally nothing at all, you just decide to eat it one day for the sake of doing it, like, that's messed up, man. That's really, really messed up. And this video kind of shed light into that, and like, it did have like comedic charm to it, like, without a doubt, man. Like, the comedic charm was like through the roof. I love it 100%. But like, the idea of like the other foods, like, I'm glad they're banned in some countries, but I kind of wish it was just banned to eat it. But all in all, man, I really had an enjoyable time. Like I said, it opened my eyes up and foremost of these like weird, I don't want to say rituals, but like they're getting there, you know. All in all, fantastic stuff. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Leave a like down below, subscribe, ring the bell, become a member. You get videos a day early, and check out the merch. So with that said, I have been Master Zero. You guys have been fantastic, and I'll see y'all in the next episode. Later, guys.